this image was just coming to me as I was reflecting on what I might open up with today. The image that came to me was, and let me preface this by saying this is no like criticism of yoga or anything when I say this, the postures of yoga, but the image came to me of doing all these different postures, sort of twisting ourselves into all these various, right, different yoga postures if you've ever done yoga. And what I was feeling was that sense of that we often have, I think, in our spiritual pursuits, just our human pursuits, is of somehow needing to twist ourselves into some particular condition, some particular posture, if you will, some particular orientation, some particular feeling or experience or mood, or and on and on and on. Sort of somehow taking this, and if I can just, this being my experience, this moment, and somehow assuming a particular stance or posture, somehow transforming the way this is, contriving a certain position again, will somehow bring about what I'm looking for. And I just wanted to share with you just plug this in here, how completely unnecessary that is. In fact, not only is it unnecessary to twist ourselves into some particular position, assume some posture, if you will, but doing that, believing that that's necessary, can end up distracting us in a sense from the fact that this is already it, right? It would be like this if we're that which we're searching for in life, let's say we call that freedom or happiness or well-being or liberation, whatever we might call it, God. That which we're looking for is the whole, this that is everything. And otherwise, if what we're looking for is not everything, then we're going to have the experience of sometimes feeling like we have found it and then feeling as if we've lost it, right? If it's not inclusive of everything, then it can be lost, right? Then it's only sort of somehow conditioned by particular kinds of circumstances or states or experiences. But the whole is not conditioned by anything because it is everything, right? So if you imagine this towel being like, it's probably a terrible prop, but here's this towel, this is hand towel, and this is the whole right here. This represents the whole. And so we, in our innocent misunderstanding, think that somehow, here I am like a part of the whole, and I've got to somehow twist myself into some kind of like posture or position in order to realize the whole. Do you see how ridiculous that is? You already are the whole. Here's the whole. This is the whole. You don't have to twist yourself into any posture whatsoever. You are already the whole. You are already this. So that's the great relaxation, right? Because just as you are, this moment, just as it is, the particular flow of experience that's here right now, exactly as it is, exactly as it is just how this whole happens to be appearing in the moment. Like it looks like this, or it looks like this, or it looks like this. It looks like anything. So it's all the whole. All with a capital A. There's not certain portions of this whole that are more the whole than other portions, right? It's one thing. So just as you're sitting here, just feel the absolute truth of that, that everything that seems to be here, everything being tasted, being touched, being sensed, being thought, being known, being remembered, being felt, being perceived, is it. It's not something to think about. I mean, you can think about it, but um, because all your thoughts about it don't need to change either. You see, nothing needs to be contrived. No particular state needs to be contrived. If you try to contrive some state, well, that's fine, because that's included as well, but it's not necessary. Nothing has to be held on to. Nothing can be held on to anyway, but nothing needs to be grasped hold of and sort of twisted into some form that we think freedom looks like, or whatever it is we're looking for. Freedom, liberation, which, you know, all the contemplative traditions talk about in one way or another, freedom doesn't look a particular way. It looks like everything. Came across this quote by Padmasambhava, the Buddhist teacher. I don't know my Buddhist history at all, but I just loved that it was so simple. What else can there be? In whatever way I look, it is the same. It is the same. It's the same whole. You see? That's such a terrible prop, but you get the point. The one taste of everything. Everything tastes different, right? Each moment tastes a little bit different, feels a little different. I mean, it's just so incredible, isn't it? That all there is the diversity of each instant. I mean, how every instant is distinct, you know, every snowflake distinct from the other snowflakes, you know, nothing repeats, everything fresh and unique in each instant. And yet all of it is the same at the same time, the one taste of everything, the one taste of this. So just be this. You are being this. This is being you. So you don't have to do anything to be this. You are being this. This is being you. Probably a better way to put it. This singular, fathomless, boundless, limitless expanse that is everything, the whole. And it moves as everything. It is moving as each little flicker of sensation and each little rumbling in the mind, each little moment of doubt or moment of no doubt. You see, it nothing needs to be contrived. That's why I said it's the great relaxation, right? Because nothing needs to change about this. Nothing needs to change about this for this to be this whole in all the different shapes and forms it can take. It remains the whole. the recognition of that, the remembrance of that, if you will, seeing of that, that this is everything, that everything is its expression. It has a tendency to feel a bit different or a lot different, right? Then you could say not seeing that. This is very, it's a really subtle point. Um, the talk at times in the Tibetan tradition of there being no difference between non-recognition and recognition of this whole, this limitless expanse that is everything, that there's no difference between recognition and non-recognition because everything is the whole, right? So from that standpoint, that makes perfect sense. That they also say in the Buddhist tradition somewhere that samsara is nirvana, that nirvana, freedom, is the same as samsara, ignorance. They're the same thing. They're the same, they're the same whole, right? So, but seeing that, this is the paradox. Like recognizing that recognition and non-recognition are the same thing, they're the same whole, has just a different, doesn't have a different feel to it, has a different sense to it. It has a liberating sense to it. It's kind of like in a moment where you feel this sense of contraction and bondage, and if there's no effort to try to contrive freedom from that in some way, but just see that what you're calling a moment of contraction is the whole, its expression. There is a tendency for that thing you're describing as contraction to relax. Why? Because it's not seen to be a problem. So it's just the great perfection, just as it is. The key is to just see that nothing needs to be manipulated, nothing needs to be controlled or managed or micromanaged or regulated or twisted into some particular shape, right? There's a lot of power in that, isn't there? There's a lot of ease in that, a lot of, I don't know. It starts that the seeing of that, my sense of that is it somehow reveals, it brings to light the inherently beneficial nature of this. It's um, it's great perfection. After all, it is life itself, isn't it? It is the springing forth of this incredible creativity of reality that gives rise to each instant of life, that is generating, we could say, the engine uh, of this. There's no way to say what that is. Um, it's funny to think that it truly doesn't matter what I say, because all of our words are it. So it doesn't matter what I say in that sense. That's a funny thing to say as someone that is attempting to find words to speak about this. In a very, very profound kind of way, this is what I'm describing or attempting to point to is the discovery that nothing has ever been out of place or broken about you, or broken about life. It really is like waking up in the middle of the dream and seeing that you don't have to correct the dream to get closer to the dream, do you? You don't have to have a better dream in order to be closer to the dream, because there's just this dreaming consciousness, this creating the magical display of what we call the dream world. And it's just like that with a waking state. Like, you don't have to have a different experience in order for this to be the magical display of what we call life, waking life. It's just like the dream. So you can just relax and enjoy the dream that you're having right now, because it's the only one you got. It's the one that's happening right now. There's no other dream. Of course, the dream will continue to change in every instant, but